Good morning students, welcome. Last session we have discussed about romanticism, hunger, hardship and revolt. Romanticism in the sense a cultural movement which sought to develop a particular form of nationalist sentiment in the form of poetry, stories, music, folklore, folk tales and romantics from Germany, John Gottfried Herder and Grimm brothers, whereas from Poland it is Karol Kurpinski. And at the same time we have studied about 1848 revolt also, hunger, hardship and revolt in the year 1848. We have seen a lot of problems like unemployment problem, increase in the population, rise in the food prices, food shortages. So all these problems leading to Louis Philippe fleeing away, forced to flee from the France, and then they have set up republic. These all points we have discussed in the last session. So have a look at the today's session. Today's session also you can just find it. It's like 1848, the revolution of the liberals. It is 1848, the revolution of the liberals. Won't you find it contradictory? Because last session also we have discussed a revolution in 1848 in France. Yes, both are there. In the year 1848, one way, so you can have a look at the line, parallel to the revolts of the poor. So here you can find out. So here it is, have a look. So parallel to the revolts of the poor, one way, have you understood now? So one way, poor, unemployed and the peasants, they were fighting, and workers, they were fighting with the European countries which we have studied in the last session against food shortages, against rise of prices, against unemployment. At the same time, parallelly, one more section of the society was also revolting. So that section of the society was educated middle class. So educated middle classes also were fighting. But whereas when it comes to poor, what were their demands? What were they fighting against? What were they revolting against? Against hunger, against rise in food shortages, against rise in prices, against unemployment. And peasants, as they were under the burden of feudal dues, manorial dues. So these were the problems. But when it comes to educated middle classes, what are the demands of these people? These people demand was the creation of a nation state on parliamentary principles. Have you got it now? Parallelly, one way, the poorer sections of the society revolting. At the same time, another section like educated middle classes were also revolting. And what is the demand of the educated middle classes? It's the creation of a nation state on a parliamentary principles, like a country which has a constitution, which gives freedom of press and which gives freedom of association also. Whereas these things are not possible. Reason? Almost except in France, other parts of Europe, it was monarchical form of government. Try to recapitulate last session. Last session we have studied that 1848 France. What happened here in France? Revolution by the poor, then leading to the abdication of the monarch. Louis Philippe forced to flee, and republic was set up in France. And universal male suffrage. Suffrage in the sense right to vote, and that too to whom? Male, not to the woman. Any person, any male above the age of 21 years has given right to vote irrespective of property. Clear? So this is the condition of France alone, whereas other parts of Europe like Germany, Italy, Poland, Austro-Hungarian empires, once again I am reminding you, there is no country called Germany and Italy, but there were German speaking, Italian speaking people under different monarchs who wanted to create a nation state. And that too, who are those people who wanted to create a nation state? Educated middle class. Whereas Poland was under the dominance of Russian Empire. So these are the countries which were fighting, which were revolting to set up a nation state on parliamentary principles. And this is referred to, known as constitutionalism. One more lism you got now? So an ideology, as I said before, lism in the sense ideology. An ideology which believes in constitution. Like you have got till now the words like liberalism, nationalism, conservatism. So this is constitutionalism. Yeah, the ideology which believes on the constitution, in the sense parliamentary form of government, parliamentary principles, the constitution, freedom of press and freedom of association. Hope you have understood this paragraph. So once again, it's parallel to the poor people. One more section of the society also revolting in the year 1848, that was the educated middle classes, who consisted of professionals, businessmen, traders, merchants, teachers and professors. So these people, what did they want? They wanted constitutionalism. Where, in which part of the Europe? In parts like Germany, Italy, Poland and Austro-Hungarian. Whereas France, already a revolution happened and republic also set up, universal maid suffrage also given. So they have solved the problem. When other parts of the world, they were fighting now for constitutionalism, in the sense creation of a nation state on parliamentary principles, which has a constitution, freedom of press and freedom of association.
How the liberal middle class gave shape to the revolutions. Inspired by France, in Germany, Italy, Poland, and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, men and women of the liberal middle class began demanding a constitution and national unification. In Germany, many political associations made up of the middle class and the working class came together in Frankfurt to vote for an all-German National Assembly. On the 18th of May, 1948, the Frankfurt Parliament was convened in the Church of St. Paul. The middle class dominated the Parliament and did not accept the demands of artisans and peasants, and so eventually lost their support. As a result, the army had to intervene to settle the dispute, and the assembly itself was dissolved. Though the conservatives managed to suppress liberal movements, they could not establish the old order. After 1848, the autocratic monarchies of Central and Eastern Europe realized that they had to coexist with liberal nationalist revolutionaries. After all, that was the only way of arriving at a peaceful situation conducive for development. This was just the beginning. More changes were waiting to come in the future. Despite upholding the concept of universal freedom, the liberal revolutionaries exhibited narrow-mindedness in their attitude towards women. Since the French Revolution, women played an active role in revolts.
Hope you have watched the video and understood. So now we are discussing about this part. Like we have seen, France has become republic, and we call France, Spain, this Great Britain, these all comes under the West Europe. What are they come under? They come under West Europe. Whereas Russia comes under East part of Europe. Russia comes under East Europe. Whereas this one, Prussia and these all the small countries, all this comes under Central Europe. Clear? I hope you have understood. Western Europe, Eastern Europe and the Central Europe. So France has become republic by now, whereas the remaining parts of Europe, this area where actually the revolutions have led, the revolutions going on, Austro-Hungarian region, Poland, Prussia and the German confederation, this is Italy, Italian area. Okay, so you can see many kingdoms in these areas. So all these areas, liberal revolutions were going on for the creation of a nation state. So now, next topic which we are going to discuss is it belongs to this area, Prussia. Can you say Prussia here? So this is Prussia. The next area, this area consists of many German speaking people. So all these German speaking people wanted to be part of Prussia, and they expected Prussian king to be their king. Are you getting me? So German speaking people of this region, Hope you have understood you have listened to the video and understood the map. So in the above paragraph we have discussed in Europe what are the educated middle classes wanted constitutionalism. Okay. Now in this paragraph we are specially discussing about the German regions. From the beginning we are saying there were German regions, means German speaking people under the different monarchs. So in the German regions a large number of political associations. So in the German regions in Europe, large number of political associations whose members consisted of middle class professionals, businessmen and prosperous artisans. All these people have gathered in a city of Frankfurt. So Frankfurt is a city where all the educated middle classes have gathered, German speaking people especially. So they have gathered and they have decided to vote for all German National Assembly. And on 18th May 1848, when did this happen? 18th May 1848, all the German speaking people, educated middle classes have gathered in Frankfurt and they have decided to vote, means elections done. In those elections 831 elected representatives, 831 people were elected, and these elected representatives marched in a festive procession in the sense moving forward like a parade. So all these people have moved like a parade and they have formed a Frankfurt Parliament. Frankfurt Parliament is nothing but all these people have gathered in St. Paul Church, and in that St. Paul Church all these elected representatives sat together and they have framed constitution. That's what it is referred to as Frankfurt Parliament, and it's an important question also. You may get a question. Describe in brief about Frankfurt Parliament. Frankfurt Parliament, in the sense, as I have mentioned, it's a parliament or a meeting organized in St. Paul Church. Can you see? It is St. Paul Church in Frankfurt, where all these 831 elected representatives are sitting and they are drafting a constitution. Whereas, can you see on the gallery here, visitors gallery, you can see women sitting and watching them. Even the women section also we will discuss in the next paragraph. First let us understand this Frankfurt Parliament. All these people have gathered to draft a constitution, and after drafting the constitution they have given the constitution to the Prussian king, and they have offered, in the sense they have offered him to be the king. So surely Prussian king will get larger territory now. Yes. So this is Prussia, and these nearby German regions, they have elected representatives have drafted a constitution in Frankfurt Parliament. They went to Prussia and requested Prussian king to be their monarch, to be their leader. But Prussian king didn't accept it. Can you tell me why? Prussia, if you look at Prussia, this is Prussia. Suppose if he accepts that, this overall area will be under his control. So it leads to territorial expansion. Economically and politically, Prussia will become strong in Europe. Even then, the Prussian king didn't accept for the constitution which is offered by the German people and asking him to be their leader. Can you guess and tell me why it has happened like? Okay, you cannot say it to me now, but you can have a look at this here. So he didn't accept for the constitutional monarchy. Can you hear the difference here? It is constitutional monarchy. If he offers the thing given by them, then what he becomes? He becomes a constitutional monarch. So have a look at the page here. So German regions. So what happened there? Middle class professionals, businessmen, artisans have gathered in Frankfurt, city of Frankfurt on 18th May 1848, and they have done elections. In that 831 elected representatives, they paraded, they marched like a procession, and they went to Church of St. Paul, and there they have drafted a constitution. Then after drafting a constitution, they offered the crown. What they have done? They offered the crown to Frederick Wilhelm IV. Who is this Frederick Wilhelm IV? He is king of Prussia. But what happened? Instead of accepting, he rejected it. What did Wilhelm IV has done? He rejected it. Reason? It is a monarchy subject to parliament. if he accept this, he won't be he can't be a autocratic monarch now. He won't be having all the powers in his hand. He has to abide by the parliament, which he doesn't like. He doesn't want to lose his powers. So he rejected it. He joined other monarchs and he opposed the elected assembly. And now there comes another important question. So in the question, another question you may get it like, what are the reasons for the failure of Frankfurt Parliament? Question is, what are the reasons for failure of Frankfurt Parliament? So for that you can answer it, your answer. First one, the opposition of aristocracy and military became stronger. Here aristocrats in the sense nobles and clergy who are enjoying all the benefits. They don't want to lose their privileges. And military. These two have come together and they made this parliament eroded. They made this parliament to failure, lead to the failure of the parliament. People have to leave the parliament, St. Paul Church, and they have to go. And second one, this dominated middle class professionals, teachers, what they have done, they resisted the demands of workers and artisans, resisted. They didn't take into consideration the demands of the workers and artisans. If they have taken at least their quantity, their number have been more. They ignored the workers, poorer sections of the society. At the same time, they have ignored the women also. So here comes the role of women. They have ignored women also in the women's demands also ignored, and they were not given any sort of political rights. They have not given any sort of political rights. As you can see here, suffrage movement, and I have shown you in the picture above, women were standing in the visitors gallery. So women are being very active. They have taken active role and in the formation of this Frankfurt Parliament, but they were not given the suffrage rights. Suffrage rights in the sense right to vote. So women were admitted only as observers standing in the visitors gallery. So Frankfurt Parliament is a great failure because aristocracy and the military have become more stronger. Second one, educated middle class did not consider the workers, and even women were also being kept as mere observers, even though they have taken active participation in the Frankfurt Parliament. So now comes your next question. It can be, so they may ask, what is the impact of Frankfurt Parliament? So here we have understood that Frankfurt Parliament is a failure, in the sense the monarch didn't accept the offer of the German people's constitution. Instead he made them to flew away. And then what happened? What happened after that? So in last paragraph it is about that. So conservative forces, in the sense monarchs, now they were able to suppress this liberal movement. Yeah, it can be called as Frankfurt Parliament. It can be called as liberal movement of 1848 also. These two words means the same. Clear? 1848 for Frankfurt Parliament, 1848 liberal movement, 1848 middle class liberal nationalist revolutionaries. All these means the same, the part which we have studied just now. So here what happened? So what happened after that? So the monarchs realized that, now monarchs realized that these revolutions, though they were able to put down, now some concessions need to be given to them. They thought that some concessions need to be given to liberal nationalist revolutionaries. Who are these people? Liberal, who want freedom; nationalist, who wanted to create nation state; revolutionaries, who goes against the government. So middle classes, educated middle classes. Another term is educated middle class. So they thought that they have to give few concessions, otherwise these people again may revolt. So what they have done, what concessions they have given? So 1848, the autocratic monarchies of Central and Eastern Europe, just now I have shown in the map also. Austro-Hungarian region and Russian region comes under Central and Eastern Europe. So they have introduced the changes. What are the changes? Serfdom and bonded labor were abolished. If you can remember, in Western Europe, France and England, long before 1815 itself, they have abolished it. Now in Central and Eastern Europe, they have abolished serfdom and bonded labor now. At the same time here, Habsburg's rurals also have granted some more autonomy to Hungarians. So Hungarians, Habsburg's empire, Austro-Habsburg empire has shown you, their Hungarians were being exploited. They were not given proper priority. Now they started giving more powers to Hungarians, so that they thought that if we pacify these people now, in future they may not face these revolts. Hope you have understood this topic. Okay, in the right side box you can see views of 3 different people on women.